Hey there, friends. I'm usually not one to beat my chest and celebrate whenever I'm right, just to say, hey, I was right. But whenever it's to prove that the media was wrong in their narrative and whatever they're trying to push, whatever agenda they're trying to push, I'm going to do that. In regards to last week's Fargo shooting that the media wants to ignore, I was right. The gunman who the authorities say killed a Fargo, North Dakota police officer and wounded 2 others and a civilian on July 14th had searched online for mass shootings before the attack, officials announced on Friday. Investigators recovered the killer's computer and discovered several online queries made before the shooting, including, quote, explosive ammo, kill fast, incendiary rounds, mass shooting events, and area events where there are crowds. Now, this person searched for downtown Fargo street fair the day before this shooting. I've been calling this a terrorist attack. Nobody else wants to call this a terrorist attack. In fact, law enforcement saying we still don't know what the motive is. This guy, and I will correct this on myself, remember how we talked about the Twin Cities having a big Muslim population over there that had been transplanted from Somalia? I assume this guy was one of those. Apparently it's just a big Muslim congregation between that Fargo and Minneapolis area, because it's not just all Somalians. This guy was actually a Syrian immigrant. And this is one of those asylum seeking. You know, you can't seek asylum from a country across the ocean. You can seek asylum the way it works. You seek asylum from your neighboring country that is not under attack, not oppressing its people or whichever. Syria and United States do not share a border. But this was during the Barack Obama regime, and that's whenever they opened the door and let a lot of these nutcases come into the country. This was one of them. This guy clearly did not like America, clearly did not like Americans, clearly had not assimilated. Now, just to recap real quick, the police and fire crews were responding to a 2-vehicle collision in Fargo at around 3 p.m. on July 14th. The killer spent several minutes, quote, casing out the crash scene from his car before parking in a nearby parking lot. From his vehicle, the killer fired a rapid burst at 3 police officers at the scene using a scoped .223 caliber rifle. They say that one of the officers, Mr. Robinson, fired back at the killer and struck him and broke his rifle, apparently hit it through the door. Once the killer was knocked down, he tried to fire back with a 9mm handgun before he was killed. Now, probably the biggest takeaway, other than the obvious, this was a terror attack and nobody wants to call it a terror attack. They want this to be a mass shooting. Oh, look, it's another mass shooting. They don't want to call it what it is. But the other big takeaway from this is the fact that, get this, this guy was utilizing a, quote, binary trigger. You guys know what a binary trigger is. It's kind of like the whole argument that we have going with the force reset trigger, but it's a little bit different mechanism than that. In other words, what it does is one pull of the trigger fires around, the release of that trigger fires around. So it is 2 actions because you can stop that action. In other words, the one pull of the trigger doesn't just fire 2 rounds. You have to release that trigger, and that is an action according to the debate that happened between the ATF and the manufacturer of said triggers. So it is a 2-action thing. So right now, these binary triggers are legal. Notice I said right now. They are doing everything they can to limit access to anything gun related to Second Amendment people out there. Now, we all know that people like this who were killers, it wouldn't matter. He killed one person, shot a couple of other people. He would have shot these people anyway. The fact that he possessed a binary trigger had nothing to do with this. Now, if they're going to make a big deal out of it, I've already heard them say that, oh, the rapid fire was so rapid. We heard it fired off, and it was so rapid. And, well, if it was so rapid and so devastating to this incident, how come more people were not hit? They weren't hit because these things are not effective. We've always talked about this. Rapid fire is the most uncontrollable fire and the most inaccurate fire that you can have. Trained or not, it is a statistical fact that when you're taking a single shot at a time, it is always going to be more accurate. That is just a fact. But people outside the gun culture will always celebrate the fact that anything that fires faster must be more dangerous. Look for the call for binary triggers to now be outlawed because they have been used in, get this, a crime. It doesn't matter. In fact, sometimes things aren't used in crimes. But because they could be used in crimes, the anti-gun movement takes that and runs with it. Oh, this could be used in a crime. This could kill more people, even though it hasn't. In this case, hasn't killed a lot of people. It's just that it was used in a crime. Look for legislation. Someone locally, someone from North Dakota, someone is going to cite this and say, oh, look, it was used in a, quote, mass shooting. Nobody ever wants to talk about any of these instances being terrorist, right? No one wants to talk about that because it might offend somebody. It might make a city get burned down because people will get their feelings hurt. But when you call the truth out, sometimes you have to be willing to take those chances for whatever repercussions you might have. I'm taking that chance. I know that it's the right thing. I know this guy was searching for shootings. In fact, they say for years he was searching online for shootings. So he was planning to carry out these attacks. This was something that he wanted to do. Again, knowing their religion, they think they have rewards in heaven whenever they do something like this in the name of their religion. So this is not necessarily somebody that's just flat out evil. These people have been coached their entire lives that there is something good that can come out of something so evil like this. So this is not just a matter of some guy that just has a screw loose. There's an ideology involved that has programmed this person to think like this and think that, again, there's light at the end of the tunnel and you have rewards when you carry out things like this in the name of that religion. So don't be fooled by anybody else saying, oh, that can't be what it is. That is exactly what it is. Now, just like I said in my previous video about this, that this guy just happened upon this particular traffic accident and was probably going to do something a whole lot worse. Well, he was. Again, he had researched the downtown festival in Fargo, and I think there was another harvest festival or something like that. There were two festivals, heavily populated festivals, happening right down the road from here. I'm pretty sure that's where this guy was going. Do I know? Of course I don't know that. But again, this guy did not load up all these weapons, the gas cans, the grenade, all this kind of stuff into his vehicle, hoping he ran across a traffic accident. Clearly he was looking for a high body count, and it looks like, if you believe in fate, that fate may have intervened at this point. This traffic stop happened, and while we're not celebrating and certainly not happy that one officer was killed and some others were shot, including a civilian, it is one of those things where this happening and them being able to get this guy at this location rather than at that Harvest Festival or the other festival in downtown Fargo, that maybe we avoided a massive body count, because obviously he was looking to shoot a bunch of people with all the ammo and the firearms that he had, plus all these gas cans, and I think I saw a propane tank in there as well. He was willing to blow stuff up, probably even himself. Again, there's a reward at the end of all of this for him, so he's not scared to die. This is a passage for him. This is a big deal. So we thwarted, or at least kind of avoided, a massive terroristic attack. Kind of makes you wonder what other ones out there are being planned as we speak that don't end with such low numbers next time.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.